ladies and gentlemen, please, if you've started to watch this, stop now because this is full of spoilers. If you haven't seen The Burning, watch that first and then come back and we'll chat with you, okay?
I'm going. I got seaweed. Don't worry about that. We're on a canoe. I can't believe it.
Eddie!
Get ready to grab it, man. I'm going on board. Come on. Everyone out rowing. Let's go. Here we go. Come on. Hard. Farmer, you can do harder than that. Woody, get ready to grab it, man. We're going to go on, so you got to get ready to hold on. All right.
The Burning came right smack dab in the middle, right between Friday the 13th and Maniac and The Prowler and all those great splatter movies of the 80s where I was just going from just killing. I felt like an assassin going from one movie to the next, just wiping out teenagers. The Burning came in. I actually turned down Friday the 13th Part 2 to do The Burning because Jason was running around in Friday the 13th Part 2. And as you know, there is no Jason. Jason was a kid that died in the first movie. If you watch a Friday the 13th movie past Part 1, you're stupid because there's no Jason. There shouldn't be a Jason. That's what I was thinking. And they said, oh, no, we're going to change that. And then it comes out and there's Jason, you know, so. And he's still around. I cut his head in half in Part 4. We still have Jason running around, you know. Anyway, so that's when The Burning came, and I did it. You know, it was the Weinstein brothers, Miramax's first movie. When Harvey came to me, well, I had already done Friday the 13th. He said, you know, we had The Burning before Friday the 13th. You know, we wrote this movie, we owned this before Friday the 13th. Because it's the same kind of plot line, you know, a guy. It's not Jason, but it's Cropsey. And, you know, Cropsey went nowhere, and Jason, we're going to see, you know, Friday the 13th, Part 24. Who knows someday. But it's the premise, you know, a camp guy, people in the camp getting killed. And we were in Buffalo, New York, you know. I remember when we got there, Buffalo, New York, I had to get out of that hotel. I looked up and there were spiders all over the ceiling, big. I mean, not to someone who has arachnophobia, but these were big spiders in the corners of the room. I said, you got to get me out of this room. Went to a different room, there was like less spiders. And we stayed there for a little bit before we went to North Tonawanda, which is near Niagara Falls, and that's where we shot the movie. I had to talk to Tony extensively to see, you know, what he wanted to see. Tony wanted a shot of the legs of Cropsey being set on fire by the skull dropping. I said, I could do that, you know. And I had learned enough from the stunt guys to, you know, soak some long johns in sodium silicate, which is a fire retardant, and putting the fire gel, which I knew about, all over my legs, under the pants and on top. And then I would just knock the skull over. I coat myself with rubber cement. I would knock the skull over, my legs would catch on fire, and I'd scream, ah! Then when it was time for, when I wanted them to bring the fire extinguisher over, I would just cross my legs. You know, just like relax, and then they would come over with the CO2 and put my legs out.
Anytime, guys. All right, let's clear this now. Connie, next up we gotta remove the bed. Yeah, it's really warm.
See a tree? You see the tree? Go for the tree!
The stunt guy who did the burn effect, he was 17. His name is Reed Rondell, famous father stuntman, Ronnie Rondell. Young kid, great sense of humor. You'll see him on the supplementary material. Now what's funny is, in the house, the little log cabin hut there where that Reed comes out of, well, we set the whole inside of that house on fire before Reed comes out, because remember when the door opens, you can see the blaze in there. So I'm in the back, and Ronnie Rondell and Reed are preparing the gag, and rubber cement everywhere, you know. And he says to me, he says, okay, you come in with a torch. I think it was a torch that you will light. You come in and hand it to me, and I will set the house ablaze. Reed will walk up against the house, set himself on fire, and then he will run out and thing. So camera's rolling. Maybe I shouldn't tell you because I'm a real schlemiel here. Camera's rolling. I light the torch. I run in, and since there's rubber cement everywhere, the floor too, I went flip, slip, boom. The torch flew up and lit everything on fire. He grabbed Reed and threw him against the thing, and I'm hiding, and then Reed runs out of the cottage on fire. I never saw it. Luckily, I had somebody taping it, you know, so, you know, don't trust Savini. You know.
Hey, Reed.
So Reed did that, Reed Rondell, and then he went and did Airwolf and was killed in a helicopter crash. You know, to me, it's different than, you know, when you watch a Friday the 13th movie, please kill those teenagers. Can't we just kill them like right away now? But you kind of like these guys. They're cool kids. You know, you're actually upset when they die because they're dying in these undeserved, wholly brutal ways. They had nothing to do with, you know, the creation of Cropsey.
So, you girls all set for the trip tomorrow? Nothing I can get you? Life jacket? Spermicide?
Jason Alexander was in it. He was a crack-up. He was a comedian from the day one. He was always telling jokes off camera. He was funny on camera. Same delivery as he does on the Seinfeld, you know. But he had lots of hair, you know. You know, God bless your mom and dad line from looking at the Playboy, you know. He was cracking us up.
Oh, God bless her mom and dad.
But they were all cute kids. They were all, it was fun to hang around them. In North Tonawanda, it was like party time at the hotel. You know, they were always, you know, in the pool or something, or how am I going to die, you know, when they're high, they were going to die. So, and the juicier it was, the better, you know, so.
Got where you're going, punk.
Larry, what's in my, the bully. I used to know his name.
I'm going to tell you just one time.
Forgive me, Larry. So I got to kill him by driving the shears through his throat, you know, and rigging up, and you'll see photos of how we rigged it up with sticks, like a Bawana carrying, you know, the slave. It was Tony Malum in the black suit and the black costume and the hood, being the killer. So you would see his feet dangling, and Tony's on the ground. You know, Tony's actually carrying Larry on these sticks. The shears in Larry Joshua. Well, it was just a matter of finding a welder that could weld the arrow, Steve Martin arrow through the head gag on a set of shears. So you'd see them coming out the back of his neck and going in the front. I think he had an appliance on too, and it was underneath that. And then actually I was able to slam him against the tree and have the shears sticking at the back actually stick into the tree, you know? And then he gargles a while, and we pull out the fake ones. Then we do a separate angle of him falling away. But it was fun. It's always fun. There's no precedent for doing this stuff. The fun was inventing how to do it, you know. The rat, everybody dies on that rat. Although some of them you don't see get it graphically, like the girl, you know, there was one girl who just falls in the water.
Okay, quiet, please.
Fisher Stevens was in that. You know, I cut his fingers off. He was a cool little skinny kid. He was a little kid.
Scream.
When you look at the behind-the-scenes material, me making him up, I made him up to classical music. I mean, dun, 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 dun. Every motion was just as a joke to classical music. You know, making them bald to get the pieces on. You know. It was a crude makeup that split down his face, you know, just using appliances that I had from other stuff. Slapped them on him, glass eye, you know. We got to the set and they were floored, they were amazed. by the makeup on Fisher Stevens. So, so I know where we're going. I know what we're going to do now. And, you know, the grosser I made it, the better it was, the more they loved it.
Action, Tom.
Your right hand to your right a bit.
Ned was a complicated one because it involved, you know, a whole misdirection of alignment.
You stand up again and you make it clear, actually.
All right, here's what we're going to do first, though. I'm going to put this blood in his mouth.
Yes.
Drive the blades in.
Yes.
I'm going to leave the blades in after he spits the blood out. I'm going to grab this bottle and splash more blood in here because we're going from the shot yesterday where he had a ton of blood on.
Yes, ripping it out.
Then I'll pull them out.
That was cool because, you know, I had discovered this technique from other movies of putting a fake body on a real face. Because, you know, I love to use the real face as much as possible. For Ned, he was kneeling down and his head was through a wall and we attached the fake body there. But it was decorated like the bottom of the boat, so it tilted the camera and it looked like, you know, the boat, so that's how that worked.
Okay, quiet, please, and...
He can't move. He can't do anything. He's trapped with his head, and people are walking around with these shears, you know, and he's helpless. You know, they're getting close to his face with it, you know, and he was freaked.
Action, Tom.
And that was a pretty good effect. It was just one quick death of that whole raft death sequence. I sculpted Cropsey in 3 days. It was a rush job in a hotel room that became the studio, and we always mess up the carpet, you know. They got us a kitchen oven that was on the back lot, you know, where the production office was. And we made a couple of appliances of Cropsey, and you're going to see how the actor looked under the makeup and with the makeup on in full color and in black and white. Certain things we had to do to him with lace and stretching. So when the mask went on, it kind of fit into the stretched look, you know. I don't think Cropsey's coloring and the physicality of his face is a true burn victim. I mean, the nose tip would be gone, the eyelids would be gone, the lips would be gone, you know. All I did was pull stuff up and stretch it as if. But you know, I mean, a burn is a burn. Every burn is like a fingerprint. It's different, you know. So, you know, it painted well. You know, the fake teeth kind of helped, you know, and the false eye and all that. But I think with the burn victims I've seen since then, he should have looked more like that, I think. But, you know, an artist is never satisfied. A true artist is never satisfied. It's just time is up. And in that case, time was up. I remember we made a couple of appliances and the mold just disintegrated in the oven. It was gone. We could make no more Cropsey. So we had to be very careful on doing the makeup. And we also had to create a fake head of Cropsey, and there's step-by-step pictures of how we got the axe to go deep into his head. It was reverse subdermal sculpting. I mean, it was a weird way to think of it. And I did the axe thrust into the head, you know, and blood. It was beautiful blood zoomed out, you know. He caught on fire, and that's the end of Cropsey.
Alfred, get out!
The ending of this movie originally took place in caves. So we actually went into a cave location. I mean, underground, like a mile or so. And I'm a spelunker, so I had no problem. You know, we had lights and stuff, you know. And we laid out string so we could find our way back, you know. So we found a perfect interior cave room, you know, to shoot that whole end sequence in. When we went back, all the string was covered in boulders. The cave had collapsed, you know, and you couldn't get to where we needed to go. The interior of the cave, big, I mean, huge rocks were where we were the day before, so we thought, it's not going to be safe to shoot in here. So we went to the barn, and we shot it in the barn.
They never found his body, but they say his spirit lives in the forest.
I felt bad for Tony Malin because somehow in there, the Weinstein brothers, they soured, the relationship with him soured, and they were enlisting me to come up with an ending and even direct a new ending to the film. But when I could see what was going on, I actually Went to Tony, went to Harvey, all those guys that we were chums and smoking cigars with. You know, I said, look, I want to leave here with the same friends that I had when I got here. So, what do you want? Tell me what you want. I'll do it. No questions, no resistance. Because I was resisting everything because that's not the direction that I knew Harvey wanted the film to go in. And they eventually re-edited the film at the end to do what they wanted to do, and not what was in the script or what Tony had in mind.
Don't move. You're dead.
I did the publicity tour for the movie. Harvey and Bob put me on a train to Florida. I didn't get paid. Why did I do it? Why was I brown-nosing these guys? I mean, they weren't Miramax yet. But I got on a train and went from one radio station to another, and talking about the movie, TV stations talking about the movie, and doing the publicity. And when it came out, I think a third of it was cut in the southern states. In Florida, I don't think it even was allowed to be released or something. Don't quote me. But I know I had a lot of trouble with this movie as far as the rating goes, because it was so bloody, blatant, explicit. Oh, I loved The Burning. Yeah, I just loved it. I loved it. I loved all of The Prowler, The Burning, Friday the 13th. I loved all that stuff. Because, my dreams were coming true. I wanted to be this makeup guy on these movies and create these horrible deaths, create monsters, and I got to do that. I killed all those teenagers in The Burning and, Friday. But I had a history of killing teenagers, Friday the 13th, Dawn of the Dead, all that stuff, so. But no, it was a great blast, it was great meeting those people. This is another example of you make a movie 25, 30 years ago, and people treat it as if it just came out. It keeps our name out there, keeps us popular, and it'll be something I'll be signing at conventions, I'm sure. If I didn't do this, and we didn't do this little setup here, and I was walking through a video store and saw The Burning, oh my God, I'd grab it. I think everybody will have that reaction because it is already a legendary film because of rumor and word of mouth, and now it's finally going to come out. Who knows? This might go through the roof. The new splatter movie everyone's been waiting for, Meanwhile, that's 25, 30 years old, so we'll see what happens.